What's up? What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
I'm muted again. I'm muted
I
again.
was gonna say, I couldn't hear you there. Welcome to the show here, to the podcast. Joined by Cyber Ninja.
What's up, everybody? How are y'all
living
doing today?
living in a Street Fighter world?
We made the wake up
And-
list today, guys. Be happy.
And we have Omega. I don't know what his background. What is your background?
It's from that.
I'm supposed to read that.
No one
Yes,
can
you're not
read
supposed
that.
to read that. No, I was playing Fanstar Online New Genesis.
Oh, that's right. He
closed
was
beta.
streaming that to chat.
Yeah, I was streaming that earlier
We're on
today.
Twitch.tv/Omega Veltal.
Speaking of Twitch,
I'm your sponsor, man.
I'm going to be starting an exclusive Twitch show in June.
See, it's all kinds of segues. Chat, you didn't know
Yeah.
you were ready for this today.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing. So the premise of the show, this is an exclusive for the week because I talked about it a little bit in the after party, but this is a weekly geekly exclusive. So if you're here, Omega looks like Seth Rogen.
Ew.
I got to put that up on the screen. Hold on.
What? I like it. I guess. I don't know. He got it on. He's like,
oh my
I'm out.
God.
Now
Okay.
he's like, now I look like.
So this is something Paigey and I've been talking about for a while. I'm going to do it over on Twitch because YouTube is super restrictive on like what you can do. Really, I mean, it's kind of like they're very like, I love you, YouTube, but you're a bit restrictive. So on Twitch, I'm going to do a thing where I go through. Am I turning into a robot?
Yeah, it's like as soon as you said that, they were like, "Yeah, we're shutting you down, buddy."
I'm waiting. I'm watching the little antenna there. Please don't be like this the whole stream. Like, don't.
We're fine, guys. Don't worry about him. We're gonna be okay.
It's so annoying. So annoying.
I'm in 45.
And the
frames
worst
per
part is this isn't Wi-Fi. I'm plugged into my router, so this is
Wi-Fi warrior.
second. He's
Yeah.
on Wi-Fi.
I'm gonna go through. It's gonna be once a week show. I'm gonna collect articles from like really bad websites that do clickbait, and we're gonna go through and just digest all of the clickbait stuff from like the clickbait websites, and basically
Giving them clicks.
no, because no one else has to click on them. I will be the person that takes the shot for everybody.
You're gonna take
So-
the news. You're taking the. I got you. Okay.
Oh, I'm gonna post some weird
I'm-
links. Y'all
I'm
know my
basically-
links.
I'm basically the guy that goes on Facebook and posts what the article's about in the comments, so you don't have to click on the link.
Save you a click.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like he's talking about what he's gonna do over on Twitch. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here in the background making moves to come over to YouTube. It's like,
I
what is
know.
happening?
I know.
What is happening?
So the beard is a joke because if you were at the after party, you'll know that we had a discussion on coloring my beard, and I went on Twitter and put a poll up, and the actual colors were pink, green, and natural, and green won, but the green that I have is not the green color that I want to use, but I already had the neon pink, so I'm like, I'm gonna put the pink in my beard, I'm gonna have it on for a couple days, and then we'll go over to the green. So, it's just fun. People don't take it too seriously. We live in a world of superheroes and powers. Like, I don't think in aliens, like, I don't think this is the most crazy thing we've ever seen. So, anyway, so that's where we are. And it's been a pretty crazy week for me also because I got my second vaccination shot.
Put him down, chat.
And I was out for like almost 2 days, basically.
See, so now the 5G child is going to change your DNA, according to Alex Jones.
I'm actually waiting for my
shut up.
powers to kick in. I'm waiting for my powers to kick in.
Now I'll wait for
Whatever
my
they may
powers to
be,
kick in.
So, but I'm 7 days away from being quote unquote fully vaccinated because I had my second shot, but it takes 10 days for it to actually process or whatever. So yeah, another 10 days or so, and I should be good to go till the fall-ish, depending on where things are. But actually, our state is doing really good. I think Virginia is going to hit that 70% mark.
Yeah,
based
didn't
on
they say
numbers.
like I want to say it was like May 30th or like sometime in June they were going to just open up completely.
Well, it's already opened up completely, but they were saying that there are at least, I think 50% of the population already has their first shot, and almost 40% has their second shot. So that's pretty good. I'm really excited because we're going to be talking about movies today that we will actually be able to go see in the theaters, which is something we haven't been able to do in a long time. So I'm really, really excited for that. So everybody, the topics today are going to be like, if you want to super chat, matter of fact, let me put up the banner so you know. If you want to super chat, feel free to super chat and ask questions. We're going to be talking about MCU properties throughout the year. There are some things coming out in 2022, but it would take much longer time to get through all those. So we're going to go through all the stuff that's coming out in 2021, including Disney Plus stuff that connects to the movies. And we have one show that's not MCU related, but it is the next thing coming out. So we're going to talk about that briefly here at the beginning. I don't know what Sean you're talking about, Clifford. Not sure which one. I know like 20 different Seans on movies and TV shows and in real life. So not sure what you mean by that. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to talk about all that. So that's where we're going to go. And yeah, so let's talk about the first one. And the first thing we're going to talk about is the Hulu series MODOK, which comes out on May 21st. And this stars Patton Oswalt, Amy Garcia, Ben Schwartz, Melissa Fumero, a bunch of other characters. They're going to be played, a bunch of other actors. And the premise here, before we talk about this, I got pictures I'm going to pull up. This is crazy. After spending years failing to gain control of the world and battling superheroes along the way, MODOK, having been removed from his company AIM after it falls into bankruptcy and is sold to its rival Grumble, which I have no idea what that is. I don't think that's a comic book thing, begins to deal with his family while facing a midlife crisis.
I'm interested in this just because I just want to watch craziness. I don't expect any of this to make any sense.
No,
I don't even think the story is going to be great, but
isn't it being produced by the guys who did Robot Chicken?
Absolutely, and I love
totally
Robot
like
Chicken.
Yeah.
I
mean, here's some of the screenshots here. Crazy. I mean, it's definitely Robot Chicken.
This came out of nowhere for me. This was not on my radar by any means. And then they said it
was on anybody's, to be honest.
Yeah, Denzel, what's going on?
I think Pagey's internet's messed up too. I think that's what that is.
So this isn't MCU, if anybody was wondering. This is a completely separate thing. And actually, it was supposed to tie in to a team-up series called The Offenders. But that may have been scrapped because the rest of the non-MCU, we're just going to use their language, TV shows got basically axed during the restructuring of Marvel Television. If you'll remember, basically everything either got canceled or just never happened because of the restructuring of Marvel Television, which is because of Disney Plus stuff. This was the one thing where they just allowed it to finish, because technically Hellstrom would have been the final thing to come out that wasn't connected. Right. But this was already heavily into production well before that happened. So they allowed it to continue. And Patton Oswalt is an executive producer, I believe, on the series. So he was very big on like getting it up and running and stuff. Just overall thoughts on this. I mean, I know we'll probably talk about this each week, but I mean, my interest in it is it just looks crazy. Like, it's going to be funny. I think it's going to have tie-ins and Easter eggs to the Marvel stuff, but
yeah, nothing to the MCU. So I think for comic fans, I think it's just going to be a fun thing to watch. There'll be a lot more. Mephisto's obviously going to be in this. So, you know.
What about you guys? Are you either a fan of MODOK or the MODOK stories with AIM from the comics, or no?
Not really. Like, didn't he do a lot of stuff with the Avengers? Well, against the Avengers and whatnot.
AIM has been against just about everybody.
Yeah, everyone.
So
okay.
I mean,
yeah, because like I said, I'm mostly an X-Men fan, so I was not. He wasn't really. I knew of him, but I don't know too much about him.
I just didn't like I didn't like the character design when I was younger, and then never took a serious interest.
Yeah, never took a shine to him either.
I think the character is interesting in Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but that's about it.
I look like MODOK according to Pagey.
Yeah, that's when I first really heard of the character. Well, knew more of the character was from MVC 3.
MODOK has always looked so stupid to me.
Yeah.
Like the thing is, I got into comics because of how cool the characters looked, and MODOK is just the opposite of that. There's nothing cool about this character.
Yeah,
I think the cartoon's going to embrace that though, or the series is going to embrace that, because AIM isn't particularly cool either. I mean, they look really stupid pretty much. But I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. I like Patton Oswalt, so yeah. I mean, I'm going to tune in. We'll talk about it each week on the Weekly Geekly. I'm not going to do reviews of it, but we'll talk about it here because we have another show coming up shortly after this one that's going to be pretty heavy. I
think it's going to be a fun episode. A fun thing.
You can only watch one. I guess he's talking about the movies.
Oh my god,
Flash or Doctor Strange too.
What Flash?
I wonder.
What Flash movie? What Flash movie? Doctor Strange too.
Look, you're right out of. I mean, you've never spoken anything truer. We got this covered as not a verified news site.
That's one of the worst places you can go to for news.
They've kind of given up. Like, have you seen some of their articles lately? It's gotten so ridiculous.
Chat, if you don't know it, this is just letting you know. We got this covered is a trash bin of wrong information. The stuff that they do get right that people will cite is because they went somewhere else and cited that information on their site. The stuff that they're reporting on is 99.9% made up.
Right.
There's no source for their information.
They will throw in a real article like once a week just to maintain some
right, and they'll cite those sources. But when they cite those sources, just go to them from then on.
Right.
Don't go back to we got this covered.
Yeah, because I remember. I think there was something about the filming of Black Panther 2. They were saying I can't remember what the title, what the actual article was about.
They said something about
total BS.
They did one. I think it was one the other day where it was like they want Harry Potter to be canon in Matt Reeves' Batman movie or something, and I'm like, what? Something stupid like that. I was like, just come on. Look, Pagey's not wrong here. We got this covered, makes so much money, proves there's just stupid. I see this is reality, right? We got this covered, gets more articles shared on social media than a lot of other places because they are so ridiculous.
Yes, just sensationalist headlines. And people just read the headlines, go, oh my God, look at this. Hey guys, check this out. And then everyone just clicks on it.
They should just list themselves as satire at this point and just go with it.
Yeah, if it was just called the Onion of movie news, yeah, sure.
I mean, that's what it is.
That's what I look at them as. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a couple other ones too. I can't think of their name right now, but they're really bad as well.
Okay, we're going to talk about the next thing here. Where's this at? Let me close that. This is the next thing coming out for the MCU. And it is the Loki series, which is going to be released on Disney Plus.
Not interested. I'm just kidding.
On June 9th.
I say what?
It's a June 9th, and it's a Wednesday release. We talked about this before. They're switching it up. My question is are all the Disney Plus shows going to switch to a Wednesday now? What do you think? Because of this.
I'm going to assume, based on the robotic voice you had, that you said are all things going to be on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think we had touched on this last Weekly Geekly. I think that anything that would affect Star Wars or Marvel will probably release on Wednesdays if they have any films that are going to be released on those weekends. Just because in case they continue to release those films also on Disney Plus, they don't want to just like completely either saturate their market or just compete with each other. I think it'll be that way.
So this series is going to star obviously Tom Hiddleston, Owen Wilson. Surprisingly, I didn't realize he was going to be part of this until I saw the trailer. Gugu Mbatha-Raw and Wumi Masaku, who is on Lovecraft Country, which is a really good series. And there's a lot of other people, but those are the main characters. And here's the actual description of the series. After stealing the Tesseract during the events of Avengers Endgame, an alternate version of Loki is brought into the Time Variance Authority, a bureaucratic organization that exists outside of time and space and monitors the timeline. They give Loki a choice: face being deleted from existence due to being a time variant, or help fix the timeline and stop a greater threat. Loki ends up trapped in his own crime thriller, traveling through time and altering human history. And this is supposed to showcase many versions of Loki, and we're following the time variant from Endgame, who is the Loki that literally fought the Avengers once, and then never did anything after that.
Right. He lost there, and then from there is where he is in this movie.
Yeah, so he's still a bit of a dick.
Right. But that's the Loki I think people liked, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Loki before like all the retcons, all the stuff that changed everything up, like with the Thor franchise and stuff like that. Cody says with a $5 super chat, Wednesday is actually a very specific reason. It's got a Norse meaning. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool.
That could definitely hold some water.
Yeah, it's probably something dealing with Loki's mythology in Norse mythology or something like that. I can't remember. Yeah. I gotta look it up.
See, here goes Pagey bringing his love for serial killers into Loki.
I think there's going to be a lot of little like things like that he unsolved things that he would like show up. Like I think they had him as like DB Cooper in one of the trailers.
So. Yeah. So, but you're seeing here, I mean, there's just this really cool, like this version. Yeah, so there goes what I believe is going to be the living tribunal.
Yeah.
As it's represented in the MCU. There they are again. Just three heads in that formation.
Yeah, because if you're familiar with him in the comics, he has like one head here, another here, and another here.
Yeah. So yeah, very excited for this. Loki is a series where I've heard a lot of people who seem to be on the fence about it. Like they're a little bit concerned about it. I don't have any concern at all.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a really good series.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those ones that's like you can't mess this up because they can literally do whatever they want.
Yeah, they can just do whatever.
It's MCU characters without.
But it's all time. Yeah, it's all time. It's like What If, but without the What If.
Right. So they can't mess this up.
It really is
going to be entertaining.
It's just like it's like a series. It's like a series based on a What If, which is interesting because we'll be talking about that in a little bit as well. So
What If within a What If within a What If.
It's What If Inception. Because we are going to get other variations in the trailer. We see Loki standing in a line with like other Lokis, I believe. I don't know if we have any screenshots here. It's a line where it sees he's like standing with another. I don't know if it's in these screenshots. This is all IGN. But anyway, we see him with other versions of Loki's from other variances.
And if you go back to that picture, isn't he sitting with Black Widow there? Right there?
Yeah.
So that will be interesting because she shouldn't be there in his timeline. But there's also nothing saying he can't get to ours if he can go to different ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So this one could still make it back to ours or make it 2 hours.
You know,
confusing. But
what's iconic to me is if you remember, Black Widow tricked Loki.
Yes.
Do you remember in the Avengers?
Telling her what he was actually doing. Yeah.
Right. She tricked the trickster. He's a god of tricks, like he's mischievous. And she managed to do that, which I thought was very cool.
Somebody said that's not Black Widow.
That's female Loki. Let's go ahead and see.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it could be.
But that's what it's up in the air. It looks like her. It's so far away and blurry, so you can't really tell.
Yeah. So
it may or may not be.
Well, either way,
we'll see if it is.
It's more variations of Loki.
Oh, that's from IGN saying we have to ask, is that Black Widow? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Or it could be Lady Loki.
We'll see. I'm gonna say people.
That's part of the lore, guys. Not lore, excitement.
It's part of the weekly videos where people are going to be saying, "Was this person that person?"
Mephisto,
yeah. I'm excited for Loki. That's going to be coming out again on June 9th, and that will be the first MCU property to return since MODOK is not
it's just
an MCU
Marvel
property. Thoughts on Loki? Excitement levels before we move on. Anything?
I'm excited
to it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm about at 8. I'm a sucker for anything cosmic, so once you bring the living tribunal in, I'm all in.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very entertaining watch.
You know what's really got me excited, honestly?
It might have some ripples, but we'll see.
Is Owen Wilson. I don't know why, but I'm really excited to see it.
Wow.
What has he been in lately?
You guys see that, Nat?
No. What has Wilson been in a long time? I don't.
Last thing I remember is like the Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller. Was that like the last thing he was in?
It's the last thing I remember.
It was like the last one.
I'm sure he's been in other things. I just don't remember.
I'm just I'm trying to remember. Oh wait, was Wedding Crashers after that?
I have no idea. I'm really struggling.
Okay, so he's done voice acting. He was in Cars 3. Oh, Zoolander 2. Zoolander 2 in 2016. I forgot about that.
That was I didn't see that.
That wasn't on my
radar. The last big thing he was in was Night in the Museum 3, which was 2014. But Zoolander 2,
Wedding Crashers was 2005.
He's been in a lot of indie stuff, but not a lot of big stuff.
Okay.
So I love Owen Wilson. So
yeah, I'm excited for him to be in it. I just don't know if his character will if this is just a show thing like Agatha, or if they might actually make it to the film.
Yeah, he's done a lot of stuff, but guys, I'm talking about like big releases, like things that are like huge. Like I know he's done a lot of indie stuff. A lot of actors do indie stuff during between big films. So, all right, next up we have Black Widow, which is going to be coming to Disney Plus and theaters on July 9th, which will probably be the first movie that we all go back to together. Will be Black Widow.
Yeah, I'm 100% going to that in the theaters.
So this movie's been delayed 3 times, I think. So his original release was May 20th, 2020. That was the original one. And then they officially delayed it 3 times after that. And this movie stars Scarlett Johansson, Florence Pugh, David Harbour, O.T. Fagbenali, Ray Winstone, Rachel Weisz. There's a lot of people in this movie. And the actual premise is following the events of Captain America's Civil War, which is interesting because I thought this was going to be after Endgame. But in the premise, it says, following the events of Captain America's Civil War, Natasha Romanoff finds herself alone and forced to confront a dangerous conspiracy that ties to her past. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Romanoff must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in the wake long before she became an Avenger. So I guess it happens after Civil War. Like, that's chronologically where it happens. Taskmaster is a primary villain, and this is a character who can mimic fighting styles from anyone based on seeing them once. Basically, he's got super muscle memory and instant. It's like instantaneously he can remember and mimic anything he ever sees combat-wise. But we don't know how that's going to function in the movie. We're not sure if it's going to be tech or if it's going to be like a super soldier serum or something like that.
They might not even touch on why he can do it. It was probably just that he can, maybe.
Well, some people are saying it's going to be tech, right? They're saying that it's going to be based on the stuff he's wearing. And we see here over the trailer, we have the Red Room with all the different Black Widows training. We have a Red Guardian, which, by the way, what a perfect casting for Red Guardian.
Oh, I know. Yes.
I am not familiar with this guy at all.
Stranger Things. Do you not watch Stranger Things?
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
It's David Harbour.
Oh, the actor. Okay, I thought you were talking about the character, like the Marvel character itself. I have no idea who that guy is, but it's
okay. So he's
from Stranger Things.
So Red Guardian is from the Winter Guard, which is basically the Russian Avengers. They had characters like Crimson Dynamo, Ursa Major, Dark Star. There's a lot of different characters from Russia that was like their answer to what the Avengers were.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, he's obviously the Russian Captain America, which is basically what his character is.
Oh,
then you have Crimson Dynamo, who's basically the Russian Tony Stark. Then you have Ursa Major, which is like the Incredible Hulk. Like, there's all these like takes on all of these different Avengers. And they've been rumored to be in the movie. Do you think we're going to see these characters in the movie? Or do you think it's going to be him, the new Black Widow, and that's pretty much it? Do you think we're going to get any of the Russian Guard? Because we haven't seen any of them in the trailer, I don't think.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they'll mention them for like Easter egg purposes, but I don't know if they're in the film. Everything that I've watched about this movie when it was coming out was when it was supposed to originally come out. I didn't keep up with it at all for any news that came out after, other than it was saying it was being delayed. Mm-hmm. So like, other than like the recent trailer, I'm not sure how much more information we've gotten, but I think they'll probably mention them by name.
Well, like Cody said, that David Harbour has teased it, but I don't know if that's just those hype. You know what I mean?
Right.
You started a robot pretty bad. I didn't understand too much. Sorry.
I know. I'm waiting. I'm watching the little thing here. I don't know what I'm going to do about this, but I'm going to call him this week and get this sorted out. So, but anyway, so this is Taskmaster. I'm actually really excited for Taskmaster. I think Taskmaster is a cool character, and I'm actually happy that this is a character that makes sense against Black Widow, in my opinion. And so I like the idea of this character because I'm turning into a robot, right?
I mean, you are, but it's kind of funny, so I'm going with it.
All right. But this is the perfect movie for a character like Taskmaster to be in my opinion. So what about you guys? Thoughts on this film? Are you excited? You're not excited? What are you thinking? Has time already passed for this? Are you over it already? What are your thoughts on this?
I'm be real. I am kind of over it, and I'm actually looking at Red Guardian now. Yeah, I have no idea who this character is, but I'll see it. I'll watch it.
I think I've said this a few times when we have talked about this prior. I think that the majority of the people have not forgot about this film, but the hype has died down, and maybe not. They might not rush to the theater to see it. Yeah. So I think it's going to ultimately hurt the film, and that's unfortunate because everybody that's involved, I think, is a recipe for success. I think the story is going to be good, And I think that it's going to be very Captain America-esque in terms of like the street level combat. And I feel like Taskmaster would have done better in a series because they're not going to be able to showcase everything Taskmaster can do in a movie. But at the same time, if this villain gets away, it might not be the last time we see Taskmaster. So I'm curious. I am hype, but I'm not like I'm going to go see it. It's hard for me to be like I can't wait to see it because I've had to wait.
Yeah.
So I am going to go see it, but I'm not like, oh my God, this movie's going to be fantastic. I need to go see it.
I
right
love
now.
the white suit though. I think the white Black Widow suit is really cool.
I think all the costumes are very well done. They usually do a good job with Marvel.
Yeah.
Some of them have been missed, but
so it's interesting. People were talking about it being stealth. She's fighting in the snow, guys. A black suit would be more obvious in snow than a white suit would, which is probably why it's solid white. I'm guessing this. Fighting out in the snow.
Think. I can't do a J.K. Simmons voice
either.
All right, so I'm probably still a robot. So chat
right now.
Are you excited for
Cyber Eric?
Are you excited for Black Widow? Let us know in the chat what your thoughts are on it.
Yeah,
all right, we're going to move on to a series that we don't. Okay, so from here on out, a lot of these we don't know as much about them as we do up until like Black Widow. The next movie we're going to talk about, or the next series we're going to talk about, we know very little about, but I'm going to talk about basically what we do know, and that is Marvel's What If.
Oh yeah, this I'm really interested in.
Yep. So this is coming out in August with no date, and it's going to be 10 episodes long. And the series will follow our characters in one-off stories and alternate realities where events unfold differently, resulting in new variations of existing stories that we already know. So that's basically what If is. They're like one-off comics that explore the possibility of events just happening differently. It's basically the equivalent of like a DC Elseworld story. So yeah. What are your thoughts on this? What are your thoughts on this, guys?
I hope they do this like Love, Death, and Robots or The Animatrix or Robot Carnival, if y'all remember that, which I love those.
Yep,
so
they were all very well.
Yeah,
Yep.
If it's something like that, I'm all in.
Yep, and I 100% agree with Omega. I think that what you can do with a What If series, I don't feel like they're pushing it enough. I said the same thing with Shang-Chi, and then I saw the trailer. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But I want to see more of What If, because you can literally, again, like with Loki, do whatever you want, do it in the quality of Marvel, which they usually do, and it actually be pulled off pretty well. There's going to be a lot of people, though, that are not going to be happy with a one-off series of Marvel Zombies, and I get it, because that thing has stretched out very long. It's very in-depth. So if you're looking forward to that series getting its due, you're probably going to be disappointed. But I think that if you don't know about the Marvel Zombies, this is probably going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, like I'm not that to me, zombies are just played out. But
well, I mean,
it's just like a one-off. Yeah, if it's like a one-off,
out.
Yeah, I'm interested.
It is a weird series. It is very weird, and I think the What If version of it won't do it justice, but I'm still excited to see it. Yeah. I think if you don't know about the book, though, it's going to be.
We're getting 10 episodes, right?
But I didn't know how many we were getting.
Well, it says 10 total, but we can sort of, based on the trailer, we've got 6 possible things happening. One is Marvel Zombies. We know that's going to be one of them. The other one we're going to get is Peggy Carter as Captain Britain and Steve Rogers as a prototype Iron Man. And there's a picture of that here. Let me see if I can find it. Right here, where it's Peggy Carter and Steve Rogers working together, where he's Iron Man and she is Captain Britain, which I think is crazy. We have the one where it's what if T'Challa becomes Star-Lord. And this is actually going to be voiced by Chadwick Boseman, which, by the way, guys, all of the characters on What If, even though it's animated, are actually voiced by their MCU counterparts. So everybody that's actually featured is voiced by those actors.
Yeah, so he recorded those lines long before he passed.
Oh yeah. This was in production before a lot of the live shows were going to be. Which, by the way, this was supposed to be a mix of live action and animated, but because of the COVID stuff, they just went ahead and did everything animated.
Hey, fine.
We have a super chat here. I know that people would disagree with me, but Black Widow probably won't make its money back. It's been delayed too long, unfortunately. I would have said that before, based on what Godzilla versus Kong did. I think Black Widow is going to do decent.
I don't. I actually agree with Naruto, because the thing is, Godzilla versus Kong came out at the perfect time of when people were able to start going out again. And, and that timing was literally just by luck.
Yeah.
But people went out and got their fill, right? People went out and got their, we can go out and do something fill. And I think that Black Widow didn't have that hype that they were pushing for years ago, or whenever it was supposed to come out, is not the same as Godzilla versus Kong getting theirs. Like, it was the timing, it was the promotion, and then going out to the theater. This one is promotion, sit for a while, promotion, sit for a while. I just think that I agree. I do not think it's going to make its money back. Now, if they combine the Disney Plus money that they're going to make from it as considered box office, I do think that they will probably make their money back. But in terms of just going to the theater, I think that this is just, I don't know. It's also it's like at the beginning of summer.
Just so we understand what the budget is, let me put this out there. Black Widow's production budget was $200 million. Its advertising budget was $55 million. So $255 million is a break even for that movie. I think it'll make more than $255 million.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, I would not be surprised if it does not. Let's say that. I wouldn't bet money that it doesn't, but I do.
Marvel always surprises.
I'm about 70% sure it would not make its budget back.
Okay.
On opening weekend. We're saying opening weekend. Over the course of its time in the theater, it probably will. I don't know if it'll break it on the weekend.
So the other one we could possibly get is something Doctor Strange related. We see him here, and there's another shot of him later on where he's like facing off against himself, I believe. Yeah, right here. So there's some sort of like Doctor Strange what if, where maybe he's learning magic on his own and he's not connected to anything with the characters we met in the Doctor Strange
the Sanctum Sanctorum, he just on his own.
Yeah. We also see something that looks like Loki ruling Asgard, maybe? Where's that at? Right here.
Yeah, he went past it. It was a dope picture.
Yeah, where's it at? It keeps skipping it. There it goes. It looks like Loki's ruling Asgard. So, and then we have one with the Collector, which I believe is going to be him with the Infinity Gauntlet, which is going to be. Can you imagine somebody that collects?
He was collecting them.
Yeah,
he had the Power Stone.
He was working on getting them. No,
so I believe they're going to do that one.
Which one's purple?
He didn't get it.
That's right. He was supposed to get it, but
he
he never
wanted
did.
it.
He had the reality.
Yeah. I got him mixed up. It's been a while.
So those are the 6 possible stories we're going to get, but 4 of them are still completely unknown. One of them I did read was supposed to be what if Thor were Jane Foster, but obviously that became the premise of the 4th Thor movie, so they scrapped that as a what if story. Because of the fact, obviously, what's the point of telling that as a what if when you're going to get it in live action? Because I don't think out of all of the movies in the MCU, did anybody expect Thor 4 to be the only one to get its 4th movie, or the first one to get its 4th movie? I don't think.
I skipped the first and second Thor movies.
So
yeah, I would have never. I honestly, no, I wouldn't have put money on Thor being the first one to get a quadrilogy.
Yeah. So, Paige, but I'm not counting just theaters. I'm also counting because Disney Plus is premium money. So yeah, I understand the theaters take 50%, but I'm saying $250 million for them. I think they'll be able to reach that much money in probably just the theaters alone.
I just hope they don't take the losses thinking that it was the Black Widow was the reason for it. Because it's not. Yeah. It was COVID. And I hope they understand.
And the other problem is they're never going to reveal how much money they make on Disney Plus. That's the problem. Right. Like if they make $100 million on Disney Plus and theaters make $500 million, which breaks the even mark for Black Widow, then technically they beat their own budget. But they're not going to tell us those numbers, right?
Right.
They're not going to tell us that.
That's right. Captain America is getting a 4th movie.
It is getting a 4th one, but Thor's was announced first.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Thor will be the first one. All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And this one comes out on September 3rd in theaters only. There's no Disney Plus release date mentioned or whatever. But yeah, it comes out September 3rd of this year. Stars Simu Liu, Aquafina, Tony Leung, Michelle Yeoh, and more. The premise is when Shang-Chi is drawn into the Clandestine Ten Rings organization, he is forced to confront his past he thought he left behind. So this is a movie that is really combining visually Eastern and Western styles. Like you saw the trailer, it really feels great to me. And I know there's a lot of people who were basically, talking crap about the trailer. I think the trailer looked great.
The trailer was fine.
I've watched that trailer literally probably hundreds of times just for the song. I said before I was worried, and I will be open about saying that. I was like, they're not promoting this. And they still only showed one trailer, right? But they're not promoting this. It's been filmed. Why am I not seeing more? And then I saw the one trailer and I'm like, thank you. Like, it is what it is. I'm not worried anymore. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to be great. I'm excited.
And there is a change in the way the rings look in the movies, which I think looks cooler to me.
Yeah, I like the bracelets better. It's also better for the fighting that they're doing versus having it as a ring. So I'm okay with that.
But this looks to me like, even the shot here that we're looking at with like the wire fighting style or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It just looks really beautiful. And I don't think we've ever seen a Marvel movie that looks like this. I think this is going to be a very unique film in terms of the way it looks visually. Can you think of another movie in the MCU where the visuals were just so different from anything you saw before? Because there's been a few of them, but just between the two of you,
I would just say Doctor Strange.
Okay.
That would be the only one that like approached it completely different that I can think of off the top of my head, and how they perceived how you saw things happening and how you know what I mean, like just artistically.
There's a lot of like they got a lot of stuff from Inception, how it's how everything kind of just went in odd angles and everything. And
right, that's what I mean. Like otherwise, it's pretty much the same standard formula in all Marvel films.
Yeah, which is why I love the Doctor Strange. It had a weak villain, like they all. So many of them have weak.
It did not have a weak villain. They made him a weak villain.
I'm sorry, Caecilius was rather boring.
No, I think Dormammu is the real villain. That one's just the.
He was in there for like 5 minutes.
He should have been the main villain. He beat him in 5 minutes.
Really.
That's what I'm saying. That was the problem.
Okay, so everybody who's talking about 45 days after it's released in theaters, that's not the same. I realize it's a lot sooner than the normal window, but if it doesn't get released on the same weekend as when it opens, then that's not an opening weekend release. When I say theaters only, I mean as in it comes out in theaters as its own thing with no other release method on that day.
Yeah. Oh, are you talking about for it making its budget back or whatever?
No, because people are saying like here it's getting a 45-day theatrical window, then it goes to Disney Plus for no additional cost. Exactly, but I'm saying that doesn't count as the same day release. Like it's not coming out at the same time. So if a movie is coming out on Disney Plus for an additional cost,
I thought it was coming out at the same time.
What?
Black Widow, is it not?
It should.
Oh, okay. Then what are we talking about? 45. Okay, then I'm lost.
I am too. Unless something has changed. As far as I know, they were still releasing it on both ways, like in theaters and on Disney Plus.
I'm be real. I stopped paying attention to y'all 5 minutes ago.
I looked all this stuff up beforehand. So unless there's been some changing news about Black Widow, it's supposed to be coming out on both. The last trailer confirmed that.
Well, and also like because you were saying that Disney doesn't release their numbers, like I was saying before, unless they count that as part of their box office, which is theater, unless they're counting that as box office budget, then on opening weekend, I didn't think they were going to make their money back. That's all.
So Cody's saying,
I hope the film is.
Cody is saying Shang-Chi, right? But I don't count.
Oh, okay.
I don't count it coming out 45 days later as the same as a release window for the actual film. I get it.
That's cool though. I didn't even know that it was a 45-day release before it comes out on Shang-Chi, or Shang-Chi comes out on Disney Plus. That's awesome.
I don't see that happening in 2022. I just don't. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't think so.
I have said before, in my opinion, DVDs are just done, right? Stuff's over. Other than people that want collector's items,
right?
That stuff's done. So I don't see any reason why this shouldn't be the norm for the HBO Maxes and the Disney Pluses.
Yeah, because people are realizing you have all these huge DVD collections and you saw the movie maybe a total of 3 times tops.
Yeah, I would say go see it live and then 45 days later, watch it again right away. I think personally, I hate having to wait 6 months to a year after it's out of a theater for me to actually watch the film that I wanted to see again. I'm perfectly fine with waiting 45 days to watch it again. And if a movie's good enough, I mean, I saw what we saw Infinity War like almost 7 times in the theater. I think it was like 6 or 7 times. So I don't have a problem spending money multiple times for a film if I really like it. And I don't,
let me just say this to the chat. I love you guys, but let's stop acting like announcements are immediately set in stone. With this is 2021. We know that's not how it works. They could be like, oh, it's a 45-day window forever. And then 2 months later, they go, after thinking about it, we're going to go back to a 90-day window.
Chat, just remember on one of the first couple Weekly Geeklies, we were like, hey, the investors are going to change their mind and put Black Widow on Disney Plus. And everybody was like, no, they're not going to do that. Things change. It's organic. Yeah. It's organic, just like all of us.
All right, so the next one, I don't. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just saw on We Got This Covered that they're actually going to go through with the Snyderverse.
They probably did put that up there.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm not kidding. They probably did put that up there.
Okay, so we've got a couple more things to chat about here. This one doesn't have any photos. I know there was some in the teaser trailer, but there's not much. There's like 2 screenshots. But it's basically the Eternals. And again, this is a theater release initially. November 5th, right in time for Cyber's birthday.
Hey, which is the 7th, but it's the weekend of...
November 5th, 2021. It's starring so many people. I don't even have Angelina Jolie. Who else is in this movie? It's just a lot of people. The dude.
I mean,
from
you can
Game of
IMDb
Thrones.
it and people will put Mephisto's in there. So
there's a lot of actors in this. There's a lot. It is a lot. This is truly an ensemble movie when it comes to actors. There's just so many of them.
But doesn't that scare you a bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But here's the thing. Let me tell you about this premise that we have for this. After an unexpected tragedy following the events of Avengers Endgame. So this movie is going to pick up. At some point, it's going to go from the past to where Endgame is. The Eternals, an immortal alien race created by the Celestials who have secretly lived on the Earth for 7,000 years, reunite to protect humanity from their evil counterparts, the Deviants. So the Deviants are going to be a part of the story. And I believe it's going to take place, we're going to see these characters after Endgame, but I think it's going to flash back to them 4,000 years ago, whatever, 7,000 years ago, however it's going to work. So it's going to be one of those things where we move backwards and forwards in the storytelling. But I'm really, really excited for this because I wasn't sure if they were going to do the Deviants right away in the first movie, but it sounds like it's going to be we're going to jump right into it. This is MCU cosmic. We talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, the Eternals are the Celestials. This isn't like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. This is we're talking about the core, the beginning, the start of all of this. I mean, this movie should showcase stuff that we only got teased in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Right.
Adam Warlock.
I don't know if he'll be in this one or not. Maybe not.
We all thought was going to show up in Endgame, but no.
I mean, didn't they tease it with in Guardians 2? They didn't specifically tease that. That was theorized. I don't want to act like they said something they didn't.
So Rex Road here says, I think that's how they're going to introduce mutants. I don't think so.
I don't know how they could introduce mutants now. It's
they're going to. But I don't know about this movie.
I think that's so far down the road. I think they're going to wait until after the Multiverse of Madness and try to introduce them that way. I don't think. You know what? I don't know how they're going to do it. So I don't know how. It's so weird because mutants and cosmic is so far from each other in terms of. In terms of they didn't.
Well, mutants and cosmic, yes. X-Men and cosmic, no. I would.
Right. Yes. Right. But
yeah, I see what you mean.
I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to introduce mutants. And when it comes to the Eternals, I feel like I feel like if they use the Eternals to introduce the X-Men, that takes away from the Eternals. Does that make sense? Or mutants in general?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it. It's at this point they're treading so on thin water on how, or thin ice on how they can. I just got to put my trust into that they're going to do it right.
Looking at a picture here, I can't find the full shot. We'll look for it here in a second. So, interest in the Eternals, guys. Thoughts on this? Are you excited? Or are you not excited for it?
I'm not excited.
Like I said, I'm a sucker for anything cosmic, so it's at least a 7.
I'm at a 2.
My hype level.
I'm at a 2. The Eternals never, I never was grasped out to them or that type of reading in books. Like I said, I like street level stuff. So
screw that.
Yeah,
give me the most powerful, craziest freaking cosmic beings you got.
Yeah, that's.
I'm
learning to get it hype with them after watching Doctor Strange and then being and then going and reading about the other characters. So it does something for me, but as a kid, it did nothing reading those. So no hype from me, Chad. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
So here we got a question here from Naruto, $2 super chat. Isn't Thanos a deviant? I'm sorry, my neighbor sounds like he's cutting his grass right now. So if you hear that,
trust me, the only thing we hear from you is
yeah. Thanos.
Marvel.
Thanos is a
Titan.
Thanos is a eternal deviant hybrid, technically.
Wait, what? I was a Titan.
He's an eternal deviant. His notable alias is the Mad Titan, but
I don't really know. I know even though he's cosmic, I don't know much about Thanos. To be quite honest,
why is your green screen only showcasing in the bottom corner a action figure or something, or what is that?
No, because I have something right here. It's the it's the green screen is still here. It's just
you just have that in front of.
Yeah, it's the sorceress.
Sorry, I'm hijacking, but you okay? Thanos.
It's the sorceress from
Thanos.
Dragon's Crown, which is a great game. You buy it on PS4.
I don't know what he's going to be classified in the MCU. He might.
I don't think they did. Maybe they will.
Yeah, because I'm be real. I don't know too much about Thanos because he mostly did stuff with the Avengers and Fantastic Four. So,
all right. So the last confirmed date we have for anything is Spider-Man: No Way Home, which is going to be in theaters on December 17th, 2021, which is just in time for the holidays. And the main stars of that are going to be, of course, Zendaya and Jacob Batalon. So I'm waiting. Robot. Let's go.
Your voice is fine, but you stop for a second.
Let's go. Okay. Tom Holland, Zendaya, and Jacob Batalon. And there's so many rumors about this. Some confirmed, some speculated. Are you guys excited for this movie at all?
Yes.
I still hadn't seen Far From Home.
Why do we allow him on this podcast every week? I don't understand. So I am excited for this film. I am not going to get excited for things that are not confirmed. Again, if the other Spider-Man show up in this film, that's a fantastic thing to have happen to it. If they don't, it's still a fantastic thing as long as this story is good. I can be hyped for both, but I don't want to be disappointed in another, because they're not there. So yes, I am hyped, but I want to see a trailer. I want to see more than just images. But yeah, I like Tom Holland. I like this iteration of Spider-Man. So absolutely.
Are you hyped for the Venom movie? I'll leave.
Yeah, you can go now.
Okay, so this movie supposedly has the Spider-Verse, the return of Dr. Octopus, Electro, Vulture, possibly Sinister Six, returning Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield. Is this gonna clean things up or just make things more messy if it pays off on any of this? Because Tom Holland says that this is the most ambitious standalone superhero movie ever, but it's the third in a trilogy of films. And technically, it's not a standalone movie, just like I don't think Civil War was technically a standalone movie. It was an ensemble cast. You can focus on a character, but there's a lot of other characters involved. It just seems to me like they're setting it up for people to get pissed off. honestly. I want it to be really, really good because I love Spider-Man. I love this iteration of Spider-Man. But I'm just worried that all this hype is going to hurt the movie in the end. It's too much.
Here's how it won't hurt it, right? If there's a ton of hype and then you don't really get a lot in the trailers, people are going to rush to the theaters to see the film, so it's going to make a ton of money. Where it hurts the film is in the reviews afterwards. That's where the problems will lie. But us as fans, we're going to go see it regardless. But I think down the road, everyone who thinks that, I don't know, it's like everybody believes so much that they hear, and then like they read, we got this covered, and they think all this stuff's happening. If it does, I'm not saying that they're wrong for believing it. I'm just saying, don't believe everything on the internet, please. Please.
All right. So I want to know in the chat, are you guys excited for Spider-Man 3? Let us know. Even though it is a Sony movie, it is part of the MCU, so that's why it's included.
Yeah, I'm just along for the ride. I don't know what the hell. I don't know what the hell's going what's going on with this thing.
So I'm going to talk about two other things that are coming out this year that don't have official dates, and we're going to go through these quickly. But one of them I do want to point off a photo, and there is a question in chat about it. One of them is the Hawkeye series that's going to introduce Kate Bishop, and it's a possible spinoff for the Echo character that's also going to be introduced in the Hawkeye series, with Jeremy Renner returning as the main character of Hawkeye, sort of passing the mantle on to Kate Bishop or whatever. This is supposed to come out this year, sometime late this year. This will probably be the next series, or at least I'm thinking there's a toss up between this one and the other one on which one's going to come out first, because they're both pretty much well enough long in filming that they should be good to go. But are you excited for the Hawkeye series? Because this is a very grounded series. I think this is going to be even more grounded than the Falcon and Winter Soldier series, honestly.
I'm sure it'd be fine. Like I said, I like grounded stuff, but I'm not too jazzed about it. I'm sure it'd be fine. I'm sure it'd be good, but I'll watch it, but I'm not going out of my way for it.
What about you, Cyber? You typically like more grounded.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's going to be like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, I'm just not that interested in Hawkeye.
Right.
But like I said, it still might be pretty good, so I'll give it a shot.
The other one is we're getting a Miss Marvel series. It's going to be 6 episodes. I believe they're going to be an hour each, or roughly about the length of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes. And this series is going to set up, obviously, the Kamala Khan character and the Marvels movie, which is Captain Marvel 2, which is going to include Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and Ms. Marvel all together in a film. And that's going to be part of this phase of Marvel films as well, which we do know they're going to bring them together as like in a family aspect. We're going to get the Monica versus Captain Marvel storyline, which was later.
That's going to be interesting.
So we got that. And we do have a set photo, which we'll talk about that, but we do have a question from DeAndre here. It's a $5 super chat. Did they set up the Inhumans for Kamala? If not, how are they going to explain her powers? So here's the deal. The Inhumans have already been set up in the MCU, but that's part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. MCU canon. And I believe they're going to have to reintroduce them in Ms. Marvel. That's what I think. What do you guys think on that?
I have no idea how they're going to.
Yeah.
I literally have no idea. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to deal with it, but I'm looking forward to it. But I don't know how they're going to deal with it in terms of that.
Cody says it's actually going to come out first, rumor for September, October. Well, that's why I said I wasn't sure, because until there's an official date, I'm not gonna speculate on that, because I don't know totally. Ethan says, did you see the rumor that Ms. Marvel will have different powers in the MCU? I did read about that. Let me say this. As cool as her powers are in the comics, with the size, being able to change the size of her fist and her body and stuff like that, and being sort of stretchy and things like that, I don't know how that would look in live action, because you saw how Mr. Fantastic worked in live action. So I don't know.
Then again, that was like what, 15, 20 years ago?
But I don't know how different that would look now. I think it would still look the same,
because I don't know how you would make it any better. You know what I mean?
Right. It's still going to look, but I would want them to keep her powers traditional.
I would too. Yeah. Absolutely. I would rather them keep them traditional than change them up too much, because I think people are going to be upset by that. Because if we have Monica who has powers that are going to be similar to what we see with Captain Marvel. I just hope that Ms. Marvel's powers are different, because otherwise we're going to have 3 characters that basically look visually similar. So I'm not sure about that. So they've already said her bracelets are going to be her powers.
I hope not, man. I haven't read that. I haven't read that. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, I didn't see that one.
I hope they don't do that.
Yeah, me either.
I hope they don't do that.
Yeah. So Maltor says, "Along you may have got Flash off some powers." It does, but see, that's what I'm saying. It looks silly. That's the problem. Is it even on the TV shows? It looked silly because stretching powers in comics look fun. Stretching powers in cartoons look fun. Stretching powers in live action don't look as weird. Fun. Yeah. All right.
Because I was about to say, it's probably something like just humans don't move like that. And when you have CGI and humans not moving how humans are supposed to move, it just throws everything off. Yeah, the suit was great.
I love the suit. I really do. Like I said, Marvel usually does very well with their costuming. They usually do. There are some that did not hit, but this one's really good.
Yeah. I like the suit. It looks like the comic book version, but with its MCU on it.
Twist. Yeah.
Either bracelets and I mean yeah, they don't look. I mean, I hope that's not the powers. I hope it's not. I hope that they give her like bio powers of some type and not
maybe the bracelets help her control her powers. Let's not don't do that to her. Just that would be a misstep. And they've made some missteps. That would be a misstep.
Oh, I don't know. I really, I think the biggest issue is that I think for most of the characters in the MCU, they've done a really good job of tweaking what they needed to tweak from the comics to make them work in live action for the majority of them. But I think changing the entire way a power works would make a lot of diehard fans angry. I'm not a diehard fan. I love the character of Kamala. I love Miss Marvel. I think she's a fun character. She's basically like a fan of superheroes who is a superhero. That's kind of what she is in the comics. So it makes her a fun character to follow. But I'm not a diehard fan of her. So I wouldn't be upset if they changed. Like, I'd like to see them keep the same powers, but I wouldn't be upset if they didn't. But I can imagine if somebody is a diehard fan of that character and they change those powers, they would be really, really angry about it.
It's like if in the X-Men they gave Cyclops, instead of his mutant ability actually being lasers, it was just oh god, I'd have hated that so much.
A lot, Ethan. Go on social media. There's a lot of people that really, really love.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who love Miss Marvel.
She has been one of the most well-received new characters. In the last 20 years. There's very few new characters that
I know there was a lot of hate. I know there was a lot of hate at first, but then people was like, "Oh no, she's actually pretty cool."
Yeah. I think she is a pretty cool character.
I think Snowflake is safe.
Says her powers will be recycled, abandoned Stark tech.
Oh jeez.
How true could that be? That's like almost Marvel MCU. Like that's almost MCU to a T.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that the MCU it's clear based on what we've talked about today that the MCU is moving in a new direction, and it seems like we're going to get a new roster of characters. And there's a lot of people who are sad to see their favorites go. I mean, think about it. We've lost Tony Stark, we've lost Captain America, the original Captain America. We've lost all these characters that people love, but we're getting these new characters from the comics that other people love that we can't get until we lose the other ones, because it doesn't make any sense for them to come along and pick up the mantles if that happens. So I do feel like it makes sense to move on to this new world. We've had 3 phases with the same characters, and after a while it's going to feel just like the same stuff being recycled over and over again. So I think it's cool. And if you love the old characters, and this is what I've had to tell myself, I was one of those people years ago who used to get so mad when my favorites would get replaced with a robot. And a robot does like this and moves around and
No,
does
you're
all
not
this
moving.
weird stuff.
You weren't moving.
Robot. I was one of the people that got upset that my characters would get replaced. And I learned that you can always go back and read those old stories. You can always go back and visit that
it's
world
still
with your
there.
favorite characters.
Well, it's gonna hold up. Does it?
Yeah,
hold up?
Introducing.
Yeah, we're going to do that.
Introducing-
Just for a quick change. When are we going to do that? Does it hold up, or with the other thing we're doing? Because that y'all made me watch that bad movie for we never did anything with. I still got scars.
I know. Well, I have to say, the month of May, has not been a very good month.
Y'all have some.
So we haven't had time to schedule all of that. Like my entire process of putting together content was completely screwed up in the month of May. So
I'll give y'all that then.
Yeah, we're trying to get back on track. This is slow but sure. We're getting back on track here. But I was one of those people that felt that way. But I feel like introducing new characters doesn't erase other characters. You're not getting rid of them. They're still there. They still exist. You can go back and you can read about them. You can watch the cartoons. You can watch.
Like how some people were mad that Riri Williams was replacing Iron Man, but it's just like, no, Iron Man's still around. It's just somebody else that had an Iron Man suit. But I heard those comics were actually kind of trash anyway. So,
the stories still have the ability to be bad. There's a possibility you can introduce new characters that don't work.
Yeah.
The problem is, and this is what I think the comics don't understand. It is much easier to introduce a new character with new powers and a new storyline than it is to try and latch on to a legacy character and make that a new version of that character. It just doesn't work that way.
New 52 didn't work out too well.
The problem is they have this popular property. Like, for example, you go back and you go, oh, Wolverine. If you go back to the 80s, Wolverine, 90s, Wolverine, he was a really popular character. They want to hold on to the popularity of Wolverine, but they realize they need to update it. So they try to make a new Wolverine, or they try to create a new character around Wolverine. It doesn't always work. And I think
it's like his internet.
Yeah. I think it's easier to introduce a completely new character. Like, look at Invincible, the Invincible series.
Oh, yeah. That came out of nowhere. I had no clue who this character even was until I saw the show. And now I want to buy some of the comics.
It is so much easier to create new characters that don't have legacy because that property is never going to be, you're never going to capture that same magic in a bottle. It's just not going to happen. It's never happened. Think of how many different Supermen we've had. None of them have ever been remotely as popular as Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because it's like magic in a bottle.
Yeah, and the much as I find Val's Eye interesting, he's nowhere near as popular as, or even as well known as Clark Kent.
There's only one hero legacy character that ever turned.
I think Ultron is messing with him.
There's only one. There's only one superhero character legacy. What is going on here?
No, I'm still here.
Really? No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me.
Your stuff. Yeah,
it's stuck on robot. It's weird.
You might as well just type to the chat.
Well, we're getting ready to wrap it up. I'm calling them this week, and it's going to be a riot. I'm going to raise a riot with them. But I want to end this off by saying there's one legacy character who took up the mantle, who arguably did better than their predecessor, and has literally created this division between the fans, and that's Wally West and Barry Allen. Wally West and Barry Allen, those two versions of the Flash are almost equal in popularity. But it's the only ones that have ever done that.
Yeah, and sometimes I actually conflate the two. Character. Yeah, sometimes I actually get the two mixed up. It's like, oh no, they're two different people. I'm thinking they're the same person, but no.
Because Wally was the Flash for such a long time.
Then Barry Allen comes in, he's just as good, and it's like, wait, what?
I don't think Miles has reached that point yet.
Yeah, he's not close. Quite. Yeah,
he's close.
Quite.
I really like Miles. Yeah. I think in terms of popularity, I think the Spider-Verse really helped Miles a lot. In terms of mainstream, because they wouldn't have known, comics is comics. But
yeah, people who know comics know them, but people outside of that.
And I think Into the Spider-Verse, because I honestly, if you guys were to ask me the next iteration of Spider-Man that I'm looking for more, it's not Spider-Man 3, it's Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I'm more interested in that than Spider-Man.
I actually think Spider-Verse 2 will solidify Miles, and it will make him a much bigger character than what he already is. I will agree with this, Malch, where I think John Stewart, because of the cartoon, I think John Stewart in the cartoons actually brought him up to that
Yeah,
level.
I like John Stewart more than Hal Jordan because Hal Jordan has the imagination of a brick.
Nightwing is not Batman. Nightwing's not Batman. I'm talking about characters that took on legacy.
The
names.
same, the mantle. Yeah,
Nightwing as Batman was never as popular as Bruce Wayne.
I know he even took up the Bruce Wayne mantle. I mean, the Batman mantle.
He filled in for Batman for a very brief part in the comics.
I think it was like after Bane broke his back, right? I think that's what it was.
Okay, right.
Or wait, am I?
No, that was the John Paul.
Yeah, that
Azrael.
was Azrael.
Okay, never mind.
But he did fill in for Bruce. I think Bruce went missing or something like that. It's been so many Batman stories. I don't know for sure.
Read Batman in a long time because I'm not a Batman hater.
Reptile.
What about the different versions of Robin?
hater.
There's been like 12 different Robins.
I know, right? I was gonna say there's like 10.
Yeah.
I like Damian Wayne because everyone hates him.
I don't agree with this. I don't think he's more popular than Hank Pym. I think the classic Hank Pym and all of his legacy of things that he did when he was an Avenger, I think makes him more popular. Scott Lang is almost a different character, to be completely fair.
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
But I don't know. We could argue about this all day, but I don't want to turn the whole podcast into that because that's not what we're talking about. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining us. I'm going to fix my robot internet, so hopefully this doesn't keep going. Thank you guys for being here. Cyber Ninja, of course, and Omega Welltall in the house for the podcast. And next week, we will be discussing the first episode of MODOK because that comes out this week, I believe, right? Doesn't it come out? Will it be here on the 4th? Yes,
we started picking back up on The Boys, so I'm gonna catch up on that. So if we don't talk about it here on the Weekly Geekly, I'm starting to make my moves over here on the YouTube chat. I'm just saying. It's at Cyber Ninja, Twitch, and YouTube anyway. So if you can follow me on YouTube, you can follow me on Twitch. It's free for both. Just saying.
There we go. All right, that's pretty much it. So we will catch up with you guys later on. Thank you so much, and have a good.
Omega didn't get to say bye.
He's waving.
Oh, no. Well, okay. Since we're doing this now, I am going to start streaming more on Twitch now that I got this thing. And now that I have a game that I actually want to play, because I will be playing more of the Phantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis closed beta.
He wants to get trampled on. He wants to get trampled on in Resident Evil. So
I haven't bought it with RE8 yet because I'm gonna tell you later, but I'm gonna be playing more of that because the beta ends tonight, so I'll probably be streaming that as soon as I get out of here. And I'll be playing. I picked up the Mass Effect Legacy Edition. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, the remaster, which is it's a really good remaster. So I'll probably be going through that, and then I'll probably get stepped on by big giant vampire mommy milkers.
All right, and that is actually it. So we will catch you guys in the next stream. Goodbye.